Hi, Rita West here with a ramblings of a redheaded stepchild. And what I want to talk about today is kind of like what I've been seeing online lately about body image and more specifically accepting your own body and what you look like, things like that, which is a good thing. What I've been seeing though seems I I feel like some messages might be good messages might be getting missed in translation. And what I mean by that is that I'm seeing a lot of, and I'm not saying it's all of, I'm just saying what I've noticed, what I personally have come across, and that's what spurred me to even do this, right? Is a lot, especially from heavier people saying, this is what I look like and I'm proud of it and I don't have to make it, I don't have to impress anybody else. And that's true, that's great. And if, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But it's almost like I see it so much, and maybe it's the wording, but it's almost like gives me this feeling that the message is, it's okay to be heavy, and if you're, or more like, if you're heavy, accept it. There's nothing wrong with you. Stop worrying about it. Okay, which, okay, I mean, isn't necessarily right. It depends on the person. Okay, in my opinion. Not in my opinion, basically, what I think I've always advocated for is that people should respect and love themselves and whatever it is that they want to look like, what they want to do, who they want to be. And maybe that isn't a heavy person, you know what I mean? And so I understand where there's a lot of like heavier people, especially women nowadays, coming out and saying, listen, I don't have to look like a Barbie doll. Okay. And you're right. And that's great. That, that's a very healthy thing for women to not be always chasing some unrealistic or unhealthy body type, nothing wrong with that. And, some people further, some people don't really care if they're slim or heavy or what, depends on your goals or whatever, is going on in your head. Nothing wrong with that either. But the message, I feel like, the bigger message going across is, if you're heavy, stop worrying about it. Where I think that it should be, this is what I like. Where a person should say, this is what I like. Like how I look. I love myself, blah, blah, blah. You need to look how you want to look. Okay. And I think that's the message that needs to be out, is this wide acceptance, not just accept me as a heavy person, but accept me for me personally. Why I don't understand why so many things have to go so extreme. You know what I mean? It seems like when someone starts to advocate for things, it always seems to drift off to the extreme side, when the actual healthier solution, or the healthier place to be, is somewhere right in the middle, right? It doesn't matter what you look like. You should be happy with yourself. And no, you know what? I mean, of course, there's unhealthy ways to look at that. And that's coming from, and I'm saying mentally unhealthy ways to look at it. That's coming from both sides. Who knows? Maybe you're a heavy person saying, I accept myself, when you really don't. You're just saying it to hide the fact that you're not happy. I don't know. I mean, there's that possibility too. And then, of course, there's always people who tend to always strive to look a way that is maybe unrealistic, or it's never good enough, and so they keep losing more and more weight. I mean, there's always these unhealthy things. I mean, you could spend an entire degree talking about all those little things, and I'm not going there. So just realize that this is a much more general, and speaking about people coming from a fairly healthy mental attitude, which I realize some of them, some of those mental attitudes need help out there. Okay, but I'm just talking about the message that's going across. And I think that message should be more along the lines of accepting a person for who they are, whatever that is, and finding out what it is that you want. Because to be honest, what if you want an extreme change? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, and nor should anybody else. You need to realize what goes into that change. And further, as far as I'm concerned, where I come from on this, subject, is that I personally am not even here. No one has the right to lecture anybody about where those lines are. Like, it's okay to go this far, but not this far. Who are you to tell anybody that, okay? There's none of us out there that have the right to decide where those boundaries are. So basically, it's up to each person. Now, you need to make choices that are, are supposed to be right and legal and all this kind of stuff, but besides all that, right? Say a person wants to make an extreme change. Maybe they want to get super skinny and see all their bones are coming out and everything. I don't know, you know what I mean? Okay, well, what's it take to get there? Okay, you shouldn't do anything that's going to, be risky to your health. I mean, you don't want to, is, looking a certain way worth dying for, or, being in really, really bad health for, or whatever. Probably not. But, even that is up to the individual to decide, and, there's people that make the arguments about having, you're not affecting yourself, it's your family too, and blah, 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 which, okay. And maybe it makes you a selfish person to choose yourself anyway. But again, that's all part of the same thing. You can't say you need to accept yourself as, a heavy person, thin person. Let's say heavy person. You need to accept yourself as a heavy person. But you also have to think about what other people think and what your family thinks about what you're doing too. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. People generally tend to think about those things, but you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to put that pressure on somebody. So basically, what that message should be is, what is it that you want to do with yourself? What steps does it take to get there? Can you do that? Because there's still some sort of, there's some physical limitations, even with like surgical enhancing. There's still certain physical boundaries or limitations to what you can do with yourself. But, so yeah, I think that, what I just want to make sure that I put out there is that you don't just have to accept what this person that is presenting their side, their story, their side, and the things that they've had to go through and accept, right? You don't have to just accept that. Okay, you need to accept yourself in whatever that is. And further, if whatever it is that you want, there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with you wanting to lose weight. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to put on weight. I mean, generally, I'm not, again, absent of like health and mental issues and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look a certain way, whatever way that is. Bigger boobs, I don't know, Botox, whatever. It doesn't matter. Dyeing your hair. That's another thing. Women go and dye their hair to look differently, and so you can't say that that's okay, but this isn't. Further, it's also okay to want to look better for, say, your husband or your boyfriend or whatever. When you go out in public, you don't want to go out in public without makeup on, right? Okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look better for other people, as long as you personally are in a good place with yourself. And so I just want women mostly, I have to admit, and women mostly I'm talking to, but even men need to remember that, because there's a lot of pressure, I think, nowadays, and maybe there always has been, but sure, there's always been pressure, but it just seems like there's a lot of like sensitive issues out now. Everyone's talking about a sensitive issue, and so there's a lot of pressure to accept this or accept that, or be a certain way, meaning you have to accept this in society, you have to follow these rules, you have to whatever. And it just seems that there's a lot of pressure, and with that is always going to be people who doubt themselves if they don't follow those standards that they're seeing splashed around all over the place on news or social media or whatever. And I don't like that. Okay, I don't like that kind of, and I find it to be bullying, and I don't like it. And so I've been seeing some things, and I just wanted to make sure that I put my vote out there on that. That you need to be happy with what it is that you want to be happy with. If you are not happy with where you are at the moment, you don't have to accept fucking shit. You need to realize what you need to do to get whatever it is that you think is going to make you happy. Go there. Maybe you find out that doesn't make you happy. Maybe you change your mind. Maybe you decide you want to look one way, and then you get there and, all right, cool, did that. Now I want to do something else, Just don't let anybody else, even people with really good intentions, Don't let anybody else pressure you into feeling like you should think anything, like you should be feeling anything, like you should be accepting anything that you don't want to. Okay? You are the only one that you have to worry about. Basically, we got family and all kids and all that shit. Please don't get too picky over the words that I choose to use. I'm just saying that, that pressure shouldn't be there, doesn't need to be there. And if it is there, doesn't mean you have to accept it. So love yourself for who you are. And I hope that you figure out what it is that you want to do with yourself and that you find a way to get there. So that's my thing for now. If you have any questions for me, if you want me to talk on any other topic, you can message me on Instagram at boss.bitch.x. You could leave comments or questions right underneath this video. And if we're friends on Facebook, shoot me a message there. Email me. And that's it. So I will talk to you soon. Bye.